Welcome to the Workamper podcast, where we share stories, tips, and inspiration for women who love the outdoors and the RV lifestyle. I'm Lesa McDermott, the co-host. Janine's got the day off, but today we're diving into the world of work camping with a special guest, Jody Anderson Duquette, the executive director of Workamper.com. Whether you're curious about earning an income on the road, finding the right opportunities, or making the most of the work camper lifestyle, Jody has the answers. Stay tuned as we're going to explore how you can turn your travels into a working adventure. Let's get started.
Make it a trip to remember and leave your worries behind. The Rock Your Ball Trailer Ball is built to get you and your loved ones there comfortably and safely. Its dynamic cushion technology is proven to reduce jerking, jarring, and road noise, giving you the control and confidence to enjoy every mile along the way. Pass on the spirit of adventure with a Kurt Rocker Ball.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Workamper podcast. And thank you, Lipper, for being one of our show sponsors today. We sure appreciate you. I am so excited to have as our guest today, Jody Anderson Duquette from Workamper.com and Workamper News. Did I say that right, Jody?
You got it.
Jody has been on our podcast before, but Workamper, the whole being able to go full time and make a living or being able to pay your bills on the road is such a hot topic for us that we see all the time in our Facebook group. So I wanted to have Jody back on to talk to us more about it. So welcome, Jody.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Lisa, I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, work camping is a really unique way to live the RV lifestyle and a way to get more people into it sooner. And so here at Workamper News, for over 37 years now, we've been helping RVers like you and other members of Girl Camper, get into this lifestyle, better understand it, and live it successfully. So hopefully the information that we're going to share today will inspire a lot of folks and maybe, spark some ideas and expand their understanding of what work camping is.
So let's dive right into that. Give us an overview. What is Workamper and what is it that you guys do?
Sure. So I'm not the original creator. My family acquired Workamper News from a couple here in Central Arkansas. And what started as a mailed newsletter, because it was pre-internet, morphed into a very robust membership organization and website. So we're kind of the portal that connect work campers and the businesses and entities that hire and recruit them. So work camping, the simplest definition as we defined it, is doing any kind of work while living in an RV. And some folks will, try to limit the definition, in our opinion, to, just working at a campground, or the job has to include an RV site as compensation, otherwise it's not work camping. I mean, you can define work camping however you want to, but we define it as doing any kind of work, whether that's volunteering or for pay or running your own small business. You can be a part-time RVer, a full-time RVer, doesn't matter. So I'd like, to keep that definition more open, because there really is so much more to work camping than just working in a campground. That's certainly a lot of the opportunities, but as we talk more today, we'll be able to open the doors to more ideas of opportunities. So with our website, workamper.com, folks can join. We have a boatload of resources, videos, articles, etc., to help the work camper understand what the lifestyle is and how to go about it, what to do, when to do, etc. Because this job finding thing, it's not, it can be simple, but also maybe you want to put some effort into it. So you're finding the right opportunities for you. So we do a lot of education. And then we also have this really robust toolkit, an easy resume builder, reviews on employers that you can read and write. And of course, we have the largest quantity of work camping job listings that you'll find anywhere. So the work campers communicate directly with the employers. The employers reach out to work campers via the resumes and such. So the communication takes place between the two parties, and we're just kind of the portal where the two can get connected.
Gotcha. So, what are some of the types of jobs that are available?
Oh gosh. Just to, if you really want to dig into this, we also have a podcast called The Workamper Show. So, when you're done listening to your Girl Camper podcast, go look up Workamper Show and subscribe to that in your app as well. But if you go back to our 200th episode, my husband and I were the co-owners now of Workamper News. We did a whole podcast episode talking about 200 different work camping jobs. And there were more. I don't think we listed them all. But of course, the majority, you'll see RV parks and campgrounds, whether that's commercial parks, mom and pop, small parks, county parks, state parks, U.S. Forest Service managed campgrounds, So everything that fits under that campground or RV resort bucket, you'll see in the work camping realm. But it also expands further, especially into that outdoor hospitality industry. So we see a lot of cool places in tourist areas, retail shops, restaurants, like lodges, hotels, motels, tour companies, whether that be kayak tours, jeep tours, riding on horses into the wilderness tours. There's also some cool options with like nonprofit organizations, maybe wildlife refuges, wildlife sanctuaries, historic places. You go to like when you're a kid in school and you go on your field trip to these like, old timey town frontier land, and there are people there dressed in garb that tell you about what it was like in the olden days. Some of those people are work campers.
Mhm.
Amusement parks. There are also sales positions that could be selling pumpkins in October, selling Christmas trees at Christmas time. Or when you go to campgrounds and you get your campground map and there are all those ads in the campground map, work campers are who are acquiring those ads and selling those ads that go in those campground maps. There's a couple different companies that hire work campers to do that. So, I mean, it's a lot. And so hopefully work campers, as they start to explore this lifestyle, are going to get to experience things that they never thought they would. And that's one thing I think that's super cool about it. Like, have you ever considered, like the sugar that you put in your coffee? That comes from sugar beets.
Mm.
Did you know that work campers help with the sugar beet harvest every year, piling sugar beets? You could go be a part of that and learn all about sugar beets and help them pile them up in the fall and stuff. So there's really so much cool stuff that's out there.
Well, and I understand. I have some friends that do the sugar beet harvest, and she always said, I think it's usually like maybe a 3, 4 week time commitment to do it.
Hmm.
But she would always say that she made enough money doing that to
Yep.
have all of her spending money then to go south for the winter by just
Yep.
doing that one work camp job. So that was always intriguing. And I know some of the fun ones I've always heard about was that I think one time there was something about dressing baby goats at a goat farm for a calendar shoot and manning a no, what do you call them?
The
Lighthouse.
light. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Manning, yep, manning the lighthouse.
Hmm.
And I know I've been at golf courses where they have work campers that stay. And I mean, if you're a golfer, that's a great opportunity because, there's usually a lot of nice benefits that come along with being a work camper that, hey, you can go play for golf for free at this course, likely on certain days and times and stuff like that. So, and these aren't, normally skimpy golf courses. I'm thinking of some really nice, 6-figure a year membership golf courses that do this. So
Cool.
that's really fun. And then I
Yeah.
think in the winter too, I think the other thing too to talk about is this isn't just a summer job or in, the nice weather job. There's some places too where if you're a skier, um, that
Mhm.
there's winter opportunities if you like the four seasons to go do work camping too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um, you don't see as many jobs, of course, in the northern half of the country in the winter, just because most RVers, they're not a fan of, doing the skirting and worried about the freezing and all of that stuff. So more limited. But if you wanted to get out of your RV for the winter season, like you said, some of those, ski resorts and those kind of places, oftentimes they have employee housing that's available. And so
Mm.
sometimes you could even just get out of your RV for the winter, maybe live in employee housing or something. So again, lots of kind of different ways to slice and dice this lifestyle. But we do see kind of two typical seasons so that the summer season, you'll find the most opportunities available since everything's open, even Alaska. And that's going to be April, May through about September, October. And then in that, fall, winter time frame, you can either, go south and find a seasonal job that runs September, October to, March. Or you can break it up a little bit. Like you were saying, you could do the sugar beet harvest, which is in September, October, then maybe transition down. There's some retail kiosk jobs in Florida, and then hop on over to maybe a Jackson Hewitt tax preparation service, work for them January through April, and then we're back again at the summer season. So you can kind of slice and dice this however you want. A lot of employers do have like a typical 3 to 6 month season, especially if you're looking in the RV park realm. But there are opportunities that are shorter term if you're looking for more like 1 to 3 months. If you're able to volunteer, like just work and trade for your RV site and not receive monetary compensation, you'll find a little more flexibility in timing because then you'll be able to tap into things like state parks, county parks, rec areas, those nonprofit historical societies, places that utilize volunteers. Oftentimes they'll have a little more flexibility on their length of time they want you to be there. So I know a lot of folks, especially getting into work camping or maybe just getting into RVing, they're like, we're going to go and be at a new place every month and see all this stuff. And a lot of people, and from my personal experience, this won't be for everybody, but you do that for a little bit and you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. And moving your house all the time and the costs of gas and moving things so a lot of work campers will start out thinking they want short-term jobs and then realize it would kind of be nice to be somewhere for maybe 4 to 6 months, You really get to integrate into the community. You get to try all the restaurants. You get to do all the hikes, see all the waterfalls, and stuff like that. So I know sometimes new work campers can feel like bogged down by the time frame of some of these positions, but take advantage of the time that you have there and the community and the relationships that you'll be able to build in time.
It's such a great way to see the country, you know,
Hmm.
and to try different things. So, do
Absolutely.
you need like a specific type of RV to be able to do a work camp job?
Good question. No. We always say you need to acquire the RV that is right for you. One that matches your budget, matches your needs and wants in an RV and your physical capability. You can get it down the road, you can maintain it, etc. So don't worry about, oh, I need to get a specific thing to be a work camper. Like just get the RV that you need. Because if you end up acquiring something that's not right for you, you're not going to be happy with it anyway. So just get the right RV for you and then go about finding the opportunities that will work for you and your home on wheels. Now, getting into things like there are a lot of folks now that travel in Class Bs or van conversions. Also, really cool schoolies, and I've seen like moving trucks that have been converted, and some of those more like unique RVs. You may have some challenges in finding opportunities, especially if you
Mhm.
want to go like work at a higher end, RV resort or something. There may be some folks that don't allow certain types of RVs. In some places, like, you can't have an RV that doesn't have the RVIA certified seal thingamabobber or whatever for insurance purposes. So there are gonna be some things like that, but there are a lot of opportunities, like, especially if you work for entities where what they're selling is not a campsite, they'll have more flexibility in what your RV type is. But
Cool.
also sometimes too, it's just about safety and the comfort of the work camper. So there are a lot of employers, if you're doing the, car and you have this cool tent set up and stuff, sometimes that won't work with employers just because they may not have like a bathhouse and shower house on site for you to utilize, for you to maintain, your humanness and stuff, or it's in a wilderness area. And so you need to be able to keep food away from wildlife and things like that. So there are, some restrictions. If you have a more unique setup, it may be a little more challenging to find opportunities. But again, ultimately, you won't be happy unless you get the RV that you want. And one more little tidbit is I hear a lot of people who are like, oh, well, if you want to go to national parks, you need to have something under 30 feet.
Mm.
And that's true in my understanding and experience. If you're going to try to camp in the campgrounds as a normal camper inside national parks, a lot of times, they're older campgrounds, so the sites are smaller, so you need a smaller RV. But if you're working for one of the concessionaires in the national park, they're utilizing a different camping area. And so oftentimes those concessionaires have bigger and full hookup RV sites for their work campers. So even if you have a 42-foot RV, you may still be able to work inside of Yellowstone National Park because you're in a different camping area than the normal camping customers. So again, get the RV that you want.
Good advice. Good advice.
Yeah.
No, like what kind of experience should people have? Like what are the typical um it, well, skills that
Right.
employers are really looking for out there?
I would say number one, positive attitude. Number two, flexibility. Number three, willingness to learn and try and be friendly. So, most of these positions are kind of entry level positions. Oftentimes, you don't need a lot of exact experience doing that exact thing. Um, but just think about what you've done in your career life, in your home life. What have you done interacting with people? Do you like interacting with people? Maybe you would be good at customer service. If you're like, I don't like people at all, then let's focus on your other skills, your maintenance skills or your organizational skills, and let's go apply for jobs that are not customer facing jobs. Um, so it's tough. I know a lot of folks who are new get apprehensive. Well, I haven't done this before. It's very likely, that you have enough skills and wherewithal to do the position. If you've mowed your own lawn, maintained a home, maintained your RV, did you organize your kids' sports teams or coach your kids when they were younger? You have leadership skills. If you worked at a bank, you handled money and, dealt in computer systems. Many of us have computer jobs. So you will very easily be able to learn, the campground reservation software or the point of sale software if you're someone who's just very comfortable with computers in general. So again, just thinking about all those kinds of little things. You may think, nothing of it or I don't have any skills, but start going through the job listings that you see and look at what employers are looking for and use those keywords. Think about, oh, I could do that. I could do that. Or the skills that I have would work for that type of job. So those are the kinds of words you want to be using then in your resume and your communications to the employers.
Gotcha. Now, are most of the jobs for couples or are there also jobs out there for the solo travelers?
Sure. No, that's a great question. From our perspective, we see because when blah, blah, blah. When employers submit their help wanted ads through our system, we ask them, "Will you consider solos for these opportunities? Yes or no?" So every job listing, a work camper will know if they will consider solos or not. And on average, it's 70 to 80% of the opportunities do consider solos. I think if a work camper is solely looking at social media groups to review work camping jobs that are out there, that is a lot more limited and you're going to see more couples only from those social media groups. But from our perspective, more employers consider solos than don't. So we know lots of great solos who have jobs lined up and people, contacting them. Again, it comes back to sort of the effort you're putting into your job finding process. So, yes, for sure. And also families as well.
Hmm.
We're seeing more families transitioning into the lifestyle. And so that's one thing too. We're working on a new version of our website, workamper.com right now. And on the job listings on the new site, we're also going to be asking employers, will you consider families? And so that'll be on all the job listings as well. So that's, something if you are traveling as a family, that's something you want to be sure to share, with your employer. Like, hey, it's me and these other humans in this RV. Don't try to hide it because you don't want to end up somewhere that isn't right for you guys. So
Right.
yeah.
What's the best way that someone who's new to the work camping, lifestyle or is thinking about that they want to do it? What's the best way for them to find and secure a job?
Sure. Yeah. Um, first thing you want to do is join workamper.com.
That's it's kind of a loaded question, but
Yeah. But first thing too, if you're, traveling as a solo, that's easier. You're going to be able to line up and decide what you want to do, where you want to go, what you need, all of that by yourself. Great. If you're traveling with a partner, whether it's a spouse or a family member, a friend or whatever, or family members too, you guys need to come together as a unit and decide what you want to do. Where do you want to go? What's your budget? Do I need to make a certain amount of money? Can I work just in trade for my RV side? I have this other side hustle or I have retirement income, and all these kinds of things. You need to know what you're looking for before you go looking for it. So that's kind of a, homework step initially. And then you just start digging in, start, looking through the different job listings that are out there, start working on your resume. We do recommend kind of that multi approach where you're looking at the job listings and reaching out to employers while also creating your resume and having that active and having that resume working for you as well. We do have some employer members, they never advertise their jobs. They just go into our resume database and find their work campers that way by, reaching out to the work campers. And
wow.
I would also recommend getting started at the latest 3 months, if not 6 months before you want to start a job. Most employers recruit early because most work campers like to plan ahead. So summer 2025 jobs, the recruiting for those jobs started last September, October, November, December, and then of course really ramped up in January, February, and then now we have our employer stragglers advertising in March and April trying to fill their last minute positions. So if you do, if you are up for planning ahead, you certainly can. If you are someone that's like, I'll just pick a job wherever I decide to go a week or two before I go. Okay, that's cool. That's a tactic. It might be a little more limiting and harder to find. Um, and if you are someone that has like a unique setup, like we have a 40-foot motorhome and we tow a cargo trailer with our car and stuff in it, like you have a unique setup and not as many places will necessarily be able to accommodate that. So if you do have that kind of specificity, whatever, or, you need to make a certain income or whatever, you want to be more proactive with your job finding and get started sooner than later. So yeah, and we have lots of different articles and resources to help you with, well, what should I put in my resume and how do I follow up with an employer and what questions do I ask during the interview process? Because you want to be sure to ask a lot of questions so that way you get a full picture of what the opportunity is going to, the expectations, the compensation requirements, driving to get there. Can you safely drive your RV there? Is there a ferry you got to get on? Oh, crap, my RV won't fit on the ferry. I can't even get to my job because, just all kinds of things. So we have stuff like that on the website to help you because you're like, I don't know what to ask. We cover all of those bases for you guys in our resources to help get started. But yeah, it's really figure out what you want, find the opportunities that best match that, communicate a lot with the employer to explore the opportunities, do your due diligence, read reviews, research that employer. If you do decide to move forward with an employer and they move forward with you, we recommend getting a work agreement, videos and stuff on that on the website, and get that signed and then stay in communication with that employer during that time frame before you go to the job. And yeah, then get there and try to do your best and fulfill the position to the best of your ability. So, whew, yeah, I tried to keep that short, but I mean, there's really a lot to it.
Yeah. So when you touched a little bit on the pay structures, what are some of the common pay structures that go along with work camper jobs?
Oh, very good question. So, traditionally, work camping started as working X number of hours per week in trade for an RV site. And that's what a lot of the positions used to be. But now, 37 years later, it's really kind of flip flopped. And a lot of the positions now we're seeing the employer paying for all hours worked and providing an RV site. And then there's this middle in between where you work X number of hours for your RV site and any hours you work over that allotment will be paid. And then a lot of times too, employers provide things, they're providing utilities. Maybe they'll also give you, good Wi-Fi, cable TV or cable internet, satellite TV or satellite internet, use of laundry facilities. They're giving you propane or propane discounts. Maybe you get discounts on local things in the store, or like you mentioned earlier, you get to golf for free, or, use of kayaks, use of a golf cart. So oftentimes the employers are providing a lot of amenities and things like that that you may or may not be able to assign a monetary value to. But I think that's something that work campers need to keep in mind when they're evaluating these compensation packages that they're seeing, is that those things have a value factor as well. So even when so if an employer's paying all hours worked and providing you an RV site, like, yes, you're making, I don't know, if we see anywhere from 10 to 17 to 20 some dollars an hour in the wage range. But then you're getting this RV site too. So what's the value of that RV site? So take,
Mhm.
the monthly value of that site, divide it by 30 days, and divide that down by 4 weeks, and divide that, however many hours a week you're working, and add that to your hourly pay. So some of these positions pay quite well when you factor in all of the things. But sometimes I think where campers just look at that that hourly dollar rate and think that's it. It's like, well, get the whole picture, and then you can really do the math on the opportunity.
Well, and
And
I would imagine that a lot of the employers, once they have a work camper that they really, really like that does a great job, they're going to want them to come back year after year. I mean, that's, just kind of makes sense that they don't have to train them and all that. So they want to
yeah,
be able to offer those kind of incentives so that they don't go looking somewhere else. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there will be, the pay sometimes depends on experience, whether it's experience with them or experience from, other previous jobs and stuff. There's also bonuses, oftentimes, a season end bonus or maybe a travel stipend to help the work camper get there. Um, and yeah, and work camping, we didn't quite touch on this yet, but you can kind of, do this how you want to. If you fall in love with a work camping job or an area, just go back to it every year. That's cool. Like, if you want to do two jobs every year and that's all you do with work camping, great. If you're someone who's like, I never want to go to the same place or work the same job again, great. Set up your lifestyle however you want to live it.
I love the flexibility that it
Yeah,
has. Are there
sure.
any legal or tax considerations that work campers should be aware of? I know you covered a
Uh,
lot of, like, what the pay structure can be, but then also the peripheral benefits too. So how does that kind of factor into that?
Yeah, yeah. And just to preface, here at Workkeeper News, we're not accountants nor attorneys, so we don't know all the laws on all the things. And every state has different laws on bartering and employment and all that stuff too. So it can get a little kind of mushy. And also, employers out there, the level of their education as to how to treat work campers tax wise will depend on their state and their knowledge of their state regulations, or if they have an accountant and what their accountant knows or doesn't know. So you may communicate with an employer and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to make you a 1099 contractor, but I want you to do this and you're going to work this and I'm going to provide you all this. And you're like, this kind of sounds like a W 2 employee job. Why are you making me a contractor? So there might be some, you may know more than the employer sometimes, so you do need to kind of have an understanding then and of some of the tax ramifications and stuff. But most positions are going to be W-2 employee type positions. And then you're paying the state tax in that state, and the employer should be handling all of the taxes taken out of the paycheck and all that kind of stuff. Um, but there are some opportunities that are true 1099 contractor positions and like legitimately. And so that's a whole other, kind of kettle of fish. And so having some understanding of how self-employment tax works and stuff, if you do want to tread into that 1099 realm, that's cool too. Um, Federally, there's an IRS regulation on housing, and we do have that on our website if you want the full breakdown. But, if the RV site is being provided to the work camper at the benefit of the employer, it's a requirement for the work camper to accept the RV site, to accept the job and something else. Then the value of an RV site should not be taxable income to the work
Hmm.
camper. But some employers, states may have different rules on bartering, and, some employers do things differently. Sometimes employers will have the work camper, like they'll pay the work camper for all hours worked, and then the work camper pays a fee for the RV site. And oftentimes that's not the normal fee a camping customer would pay. Like, for example, when you work for a concessionaire, like inside of Yellowstone, the RV site fee is usually around like $70 a week for a full hookup RV site inside of Yellowstone. So there's some work campers that get all up, well, RV site should be free. I should never have to pay for my RV site as a work camper. Okay, but if it's $70 a week to live in Yellowstone, is it really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there are, like I said, some questions to ask. Make sure you kind of have those things ironed out. Most of the time, like I said, it's going to be a pretty easy W-2 gig. If you are just volunteering and trade for your RV site, the majority of the time, there's no
Mm.
monetary exchange at all. So it's not like you're going to be getting any tax forms or anything. So volunteering can be even more simple as far as, the tax goes. And then again, just kind of covering your bases, asking the employer, well, if you have workers' compensation, is that covered on your work campers? And, that kind of stuff too is something to think about and ask about when you're communicating with an employer. If you are going to be a 1099 contractor, you may need to have your own insurance depending upon what you're doing and stuff. So, if running a small business on the road is kind of this whole other realm of things, but can have a lot of benefits as well. So there are some things to learn. And of course, there's lots of resources out there to help you with that. I'm sure you guys have had some of those discussions on your podcast too.
We have.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned insurance. It's a great time to take a second break for our other show sponsor today, which is Progressive Insurance. We'll be right back.
Hey, RVers! Any way you explore, explore protected. With Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. They make it easy to quote, and the process takes as little as 4 minutes. Get a quote now. Insure your passion.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thank you, Progressive Insurance, for being one of today's show sponsors. We sure appreciate you guys. Jody, you are giving us some really, really good advice here. But let's talk about what are some of the biggest challenges that work compers face and how can they prepare for them?
Sure. I think one of the biggest factors is just feeling like there's not enough opportunities or they're not finding the right thing. And so, again, I think it just comes back to the whole, kind of golden rule of the more you put in, the more you get out. So if you are making a good effort to market yourself and review all of the opportunities that are out there, whether it's on our website or others, just opening yourself up to as many opportunities as possible. That's going to give you, like we talked about, more flexibility, more options to look through. So just move into this lifestyle with an openness to putting in some effort into it. I think that's really the first thing. In my opinion, just going into a Facebook group and saying, "Hey, I want to be in city state. Somebody tell me what jobs are there,"
Mm.
isn't going to give you a lot of results. It's a tactic, but I think there are better ways to go about it. So just, putting in some effort in the top end, and also don't oversell yourself. Don't try to do something that you physically know you can't do or mentally don't feel like you're capable of. Like I said, if you're not a people person, maybe don't go work in the office at a campground, because all you're going to do is deal with people all day. And if that's just going to frustrate you, then that's not going to be very, very fun. So again, just to have that understanding of yourself and what you want to get out of this lifestyle. And then also some patience because this a situation that just revolves around people. So you will communicate with employers and they may not be so great at communicating back. They may never contact you again or be spacey, not real good at communicating, and maybe the interview isn't, they don't give you a lot of information and you're just kind of feeling like, oh, that's not great. So have some patience to a certain extent, but also then again, follow your gut. If you are communicating with an employer and it's not feeling well, it's not going good, you're not getting what you need from that employer, move on. So have a little patience, but also don't think, oh, I have to take this job because there's nothing else available, so I'll just go with it. Don't make sacrifices that will cause struggles for you in the long run. Um, so yeah, and just do your best to fulfill the season. Things are going to come up. Like we know, RVs break down, health situations come up, family stuff comes up. So If you are a work camper, you've committed to a job, but now something has changed, you just need to communicate with that employer right away and let them know. So life challenges may come up, like that would create some headaches and stuff in moving forward with the lifestyle. But um, yeah,
Well, and I think you touched on a lot of things that are important just as an RVer in general. Going
yeah,
with the flow, things happen, be patient. Um, as a very experienced RVer myself, yeah, things do happen. Things do break down. Um, we're traveling on a little tiny houses behind our vehicles that uh
right.
sometimes things
Down the
fall
road.
apart. Yeah, that vibrate
Yeah,
and stuff. So I think in order to really enjoy this lifestyle, whether you're a weekend warrior or a full timer that are, doing work camping or not, y- yeah, you got to be able to go with the flow.
for sure.
So, are you seeing any trends in work camping, such as you mentioned families? Are you seeing more younger people doing it? Are you seeing more families and stuff like that getting into it? Anything like that you didn't see in the past years?
Yeah, definitely. A little bit of transition, not a lot. I've been with Work Camper News for about 18 years now. In that time, we have seen some younger folks coming into the work camping lifestyle. It's still probably, I would say, 70 to 80% 55 and over are still the majority of work campers based on our surveys. But yeah, definitely more families as well coming in and getting into the lifestyle. And also, like I said, kind of that compensation flip flop. I think also, too, even folks who are maybe 55 and up, they're moving into this lifestyle, but with less of a cushion.
Mm,
Other generations had stronger retirement funds, had pension plans, and things like that. As the generations have gone on, financially, that's less of a thing as you get younger. That's just kind of culturally what has happened. And so more folks are transitioning into this lifestyle without, I mean, some may have, Social Security coming in, but they don't necessarily have the 401ks and the other stuff to live on. So we are seeing that shift. And that's been happening for a while is more work campers wanting income to do these types of jobs. And thusly, the number of hours is increasing as well. Also, because the value of the RV sites is going up because everything costs more now. You know, um, 30 years ago, an RV site for $45 was probably like, ooh, pricey. Where now sometimes you're paying upwards of 70 to 100, $150 a night at those, super duper KOAs and stuff.
mhm.
So just looking at the number of hours an employer wants for an RV site now is different than it used to be because the value of that RV site and stuff has increased as well. So everything's going up as they're saying, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So that's definitely changed, and also what we hear from employers, they're struggling a little more with their recruiting. They're finding more people who are lying about their abilities, are not following through, are flaking out, not communicating well, etc. So I that's I think result of a lot of things just in our culture now. So hopefully, those of you who are listening are folks who have, the fortitude to be respectful of this whole thing. So employers, rely on the work campers. Oftentimes they're hiring work campers because they don't have enough people in their local market to run the operation or places like Corps of Engineer projects, especially in other government entities, especially now, are understaffed. And if they don't have volunteer work campers there to open the gates, close the gates, man the gatehouse, pick up stuff around the trails, etc., they may not even be able to stay open, you know?
Yeah.
So understand that, like, yeah, work camping is fun and it's cool, but like if you're making a commitment, try to stick with that commitment. So I'd love to see more employers with the general feeling of work campers are so mature and, stick to what they say and stuff. Like that's the kind of experience that we want our employer members to have. So hopefully work campers as you're moving into this lifestyle, you're taking this seriously and being honest and open and flexible.
Very good. Have you seen a growth in the 15 years you guys have been doing this in the demand for work campers, in the industry?
Yes, definitely. And more entities, different types of entities have come on board as well, as utilizing work campers as a resource. Because it did really it started really with the Corps of Engineer campgrounds and then expanded into other campgrounds and then the outdoor hospitality industry. And now it's really filtered out into a lot of different, Jackson Hewitt tax service, like who would have thought,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely. And we see, some unique and different thing. Like there's a yoga retreat center on the Oregon coast, that is hiring a work camper now. And sometimes, a lot of times too, it can just be like property management or property security. So there are even, private landowners, whether, it's a ranch or a place with just a few acres or something, and they just need help with mowing, maybe, maintaining some of their animals or watching their animals while the homeowners are out of town and stuff. But they have a big enough property that they can have an RV on site and have utilities for that RVer. So yeah, it really has expanded and there are a lot more opportunities and options out there.
That makes sense. I live out here in the Black Hills of South Dakota, so a big tourist area. And, I definitely see the importance of work campers out here. They're everywhere. But, I also have, know a lot of business owners who rely on the foreign workers, the seasonal foreign workers to come in.
Mhm.
And in the last few years, that's becoming more and more challenging for them
Yes.
with a lot of legal requirements. So I can see where there's a bigger growth or a bigger demand in work campers to be able to come in. So
Exactly.
that's very interesting. So, well, Jody, we got some final thoughts here. Again, tell everybody what are the best resources for someone who is looking to get a start in their work camping journey.
Absolutely. Well, workcamper.com is our online home. You can go join for free. We have a lot of free information on our website. You can try out our membership for free. We are a yearly membership organization. That's something that we do differently. We are fully supported by our work campers and our employers. So our website isn't filled with all the junk banners and like affiliate pushes and like weird stuff. Like it's very clean and work camping specific focus. And because our employers, we check the new employers as they come in and we manually process the ads and the employers pay for the ads. So you won't find like spam and junk on
Sure.
our site, which I would be cautious of like on, free sites or other stuff that's just open to the internet. Just make sure you're really doing your due diligence on those opportunities. We've seen, some scams in the lifestyle. So but yeah, workcamper.com. Come on in and feel free to contact us. Like we're a small business. We have a phone number you can call. Real people answer. We also check email constantly throughout the day. So feel free to email us if calling is not your jam. Um, but another resource too that I know of this really great work camping couple, Jim and Renee. Their website is liveworkdream.com and they've wrote a book, I think called Income Anywhere. Anyway, they're like 20-year work campers, ran small businesses on the road, have done the traditional work camping thing. And so they have a lot of really good resources as well. Great folks there. So yeah, those are kind of the two main online. Oh, we have our blog website is goneworkcamping.com. Lots of articles there. And then, of course, our podcast, The Work Camper Show, with our host, Greg Gerber. He does a great job. We interview work campers living the lifestyle, as well as employers offering jobs and others in the RV lifestyle, like Girl Camper, and other, great organizations that we have supporting RVers and those living the lifestyle. So, yeah, check it out.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to do it. I think I told you before the show, this is a lifestyle that I'm hoping I can talk my husband into doing in the near future. I think it'd be something really fun for us to do. Great way to see the country, just to do something different and just get out there and do it. And I love the
And
different
real
opportunities. But
something
I do
else.
want the baby goat dressing job. If that one comes up again, I do want to dress baby
I
goat.
will keep watch. I will keep watch for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
For you. Yeah. But just one other thing that I just want to throw out there. Um, Really the main benefit, and we kind of see that as our viewers, but I think work camping especially like the number one benefit of this lifestyle is the community and the relationships that you build. You know, that's why some work campers usually go back to the same employer year after year, is because they fall in love with the owners or the managers or the people that live there, whatever. So it's in community, having a community and interacting with other humans is just really important for our overall health and longevity. So especially if you're a person who is retired and maybe you've transitioned out of the work lifestyle, you don't have a lot of family around you, this is a way for you to, like we said, go and travel and see amazing places, but also more easily integrate into a community and get to know other people. And, you know, meeting these other work campers, you're going to get so much advice from them and learn about cool jobs like maybe dressing baby goats, you know, and other cool opportunities and stuff that are out there. So if you are new to the work camping lifestyle, one thing you may want to consider is finding an employer that hires kind of a larger number of work campers. So that way you're getting started in a community of others that likely have experience, and that might not feel so scary as being the only work campers running a campground kind of thing. So a little kind of throw out of advice there. But yeah, this lifestyle really is, it's so much about relationships, and that's really the number one benefit. It's not the paycheck, it's the people.
I love it. And, you know, you kind of touched on this too, that for us, you know, we want to find somewhere where will be our forever home, you know, or maybe that snowbird home, and doing a work camp job, maybe somewhere in this, you know, the southern areas or the warmer climates in the winter is a perfect way for us to check out different communities to be like, yeah, I really like this one, or yeah, this one didn't really fit what I'm looking for. Because even where I live here in the Black Hills, had I known what I know now 20 years later, I probably wouldn't pick the town that I live in. I may have picked Spearfish, where it has a college, the college town, so it's open all year round. I live in Custer, it's a tourist town. It shuts down in October.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Interesting.
so
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
having that experience, I think, is a really big benefit of trying out some of the work camp jobs. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Jody. Appreciate having you on today's show. And we'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Appreciate you and everything that Girl Camper does for the community.
Thanks. Well, that is a wrap on today's episode of the Grow Camper podcast. And a huge thank you to Jody Anderson Duquette from workamper.com for sharing such valuable insight. And if today's conversation got you thinking about hitting the road and working from anywhere, then be sure to check out all of Workamper's resources to get started. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the Grow Camper podcast and to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any adventure. Also, let's stay connected. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, visit growcamper.com for even more camping inspiration. And most importantly, come join us in person. We still have some spots at our signature event, Camporee. It's going to be this June in Granby, Colorado. We would love to see you there. And before I head out, let's talk about keeping those black tanks clean. Our friends at Liquify have got you covered. They've got some of the best black tank treatments out there. Plus, they're running an incredible sweepstakes. You could win an Alliance Delta RV. Head on over to Liquify's website to get entered and to get all of the details. Thanks for listening. And as always, we're happy campers when you're a girl camper. Until next time, we'll see you around the campfire.